Hey guys, how are we today? See, my computer says 2:29 and my phone says 2:32 and StreamYard said I still had 2 minutes left. So I don't know, you guys. It's just my pet peeve. I don't want to be late. So, we're here now. How are you guys? Friday, huh? It's good to see you, Jen and Trista. Trista says that she after today she gets 12 days off. You definitely deserve it. I'm happy for you. Jen, no, I was 1 minute early. Oh, what are you guys up to today? First I wanted to tell you guys that on my community tab, I can't remember. I think it was yesterday. I made a short, and I also listed everything on my community tab. And it was about this little 12-year-old girl. Her name was Tasia Warren, and she is from the Baltimore area. And she had been missing since Thursday, June the 20th. And what happened was her family saw her at 8:30 the night before, and when her mama woke her up for breakfast the next morning, she was gone. And I was so stressed out because it kind of sounds like Sebastian, her mama went to wake her up and she was gone. And but there was a note left, and the note said, "Do not call police. It'll only make things worse. I'm not running away." And I think it said she was on her way to Pennsylvania. Um, so, and her friends had told her mama afterwards that she had been talking to this 20-year-old man from Pennsylvania, and they thought that that's possibly where she was going and who she was going to meet. But they said a 20-year-old man, but it could have been a 50-year-old man or a 60-year-old woman. You guys know we don't know. But anyways, after I posted that, I guess that she had been found right around the exact same time, because I always check for updates right before I post something. And they said they found her. She was found. So a whole week later, yep, it was yesterday, and they found her a whole week later, and she was still in her same little town. So that was wonderful, you guys. That made me really, really, really happy. And that's all that we know, is that she was found, and that's all that we need to know. But it was so sad because I was watching videos of her family posting flyers all around the area, and they were telling her, come home, you're not in trouble. And that sounded familiar too. And so I was thinking that she was possibly, trafficked. You know what I'm saying? So I'm so glad that she was found safely, you guys. That's a really good update. And Foxy said that we should put that in our next Good Endings live for our file for that. So that's a good idea. Hopefully we can add today's case to that as well, you guys. It's really bothersome too. And I wanted to tell you guys that I did at the top of the chat. Here's the first thing about this case. This little fella, Bryson Mure, he's 14 years old, and there is not usually I go to NCMEC, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. I usually go there to get my flyers, and that's what I share at first. But he's not even listed on there, you guys. He's been missing for a while too. He's been missing since the 16th. June the 16th, and his file is not even on NCMEC, and I have no idea why. And I tried to see if we could add it somehow, if there was a tab in there where you could contact them to add it, but I didn't see anything. But the good news is that missing people in America, they do have a page for him. So they do have a flyer that you can print off there. And I did make one on my community tab. I think that's the first one that I ever made, you guys. So please give me a little bit of grace on that. Aaron, did I say hi to you? I don't think I pushed my chat down. It's good to see you too. It's good to see all you guys. It really, really is. I'm afraid that I'm going to press live and nobody's going to be here, not even one person. But that would be okay too, because that's not the reason that I do this. I do this so that to get the awareness out. That's all that matters, which I guess if nobody watched it, but I don't know. Oh, yeah. So I'll tell you guys about Bryson. Let me get to my pictures here. He's 14 years old. And I'm not going to show the photo, but I think in some of the news articles that I show, they do show the photo, you guys. Trista says the 17-year-old girl that's been missing in my town, she is still missing. Her mom posted that there's absolutely no leads at all, and that post is from 3 days ago. Oh my goodness, Trista. I did look into that, but I couldn't find a whole lot, but I will look into that again, I promise. Oh my goodness. I couldn't imagine, you guys, and I don't want none of us to be in that situation. You know, you can't imagine sometimes until you're in that situation, but I pray to God that none of us are ever in that situation. Heather Licious, it's good to see you. I hope you're feeling better. Yeah, Heather Licious told me her birthday, and I told I can't say her name because she'll go off, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Not Siri, but the other one. And I told her to remind me, and in the morning she reminded me really loud and scared me to death. But so I was not going to forget Heather Licious's birthday. No way. um, but yes, so this is Bryson, you guys. He's 14 years old, and there's another picture of him that was taken shortly before his disappearance, maybe minutes before his disappearance. And some of the news articles and the videos that I'm going to show you, they do show that. So this whole case is a huge trigger warning. It's about child A, and domestic A and things like that. So it's a huge trigger warning. Yep, her, Jennifer. I'm not going to say her name. Oh, don't you guys hate it when you're watching videos or something and they say her name and get yours going? Oh, yeah. And so it was the 16th. And he lives in Indianapolis with his parents, but him and his mom were at his maternal grandmother's house close to Cleveland, but it's called Garfield Heights. And she was very concerned because of how he appeared, and you guys will see it. And it's really, really bad, you guys. And so she called the police as soon as his mama and him left. And the Garfield Heights, I believe it was their police department that pulled them over about 15 minutes later. And Bryson was nowhere to be found already, you guys, that fast. And see, they were headed home towards Logansport, Indiana. That's where they live. And he was missing that fast. And so the police, since they couldn't find him, they called DCFS in Indiana. And they opened up a case 2 days later on the 18th, so 6/18, and they had been trying to contact his family, and his family didn't talk to them until yesterday, you guys. So what, from the 16th until yesterday, so 11 days, the mom and dad wouldn't even talk to him for 11 days. And they had the make and model of his mom's car because they pulled her over, right? So why they didn't put out an Amber Alert for this child, I don't know. So I'm really, really on one, you guys, because Nick Mac doesn't have a flyer for him, and there was not an Amber Alert for him. So I'm really upset about that, you guys. And then there's another thing. His dad is named Daniel Muir, and I wanted to show you guys a picture of him. I don't know if any of you guys are into sports. I'm not. I hadn't heard of this fella before, but his name is Daniel Muir, and he's around my age. I think he might be a little bit younger than me, so 41 and 42. And so they have been looking for him. It says everywhere that he is a person of interest in this case. I think that's the way they word it, person of interest. So he was in the NFL from 2007 to 2013, and he married his college sweetheart, Kristen, in 2009. So that's Bryson's mom, Kristen, and that was who he was with that day. And so I wanted to show you guys, and there's other things too, you guys. The car that they were driving and the house that they live in Logansport is owned by this. Let me see the exact name of the foundation. It's a foundation, Servants. I can't find it in my notes. We'll hear about it many times, but it's a not for profit foundation, and the church that they belong to is called Straightway Truth Ministries. And I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Jennifer, it was the maternal grandmother, and I do have a video where she speaks, so we'll get to listen to what she saw and everything like that. So I'll just be honest with you guys. You guys know that I make my prayer request post on my community tab every single week, and I've done it for, I think, 35 weeks now or more. I haven't counted in a bit, but I make sure to do that. And I have a faith tab. Hey, Aries, good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. And I have the faith tab in my Discord, and my faith means a whole lot to me. And I have been looking at videos from this Faithway Ministries, and I'll show you guys just a little bit what I've found, but it's the tip of the iceberg. There's another NFL player that also belongs to this church, and there was an incident with him that was really bad too. They twist the gospel to their will, and I just don't think it's right, you guys. I don't want to say a whole lot until I educate myself more on it, but it makes me really, really worried for this child. Yeah, Jennifer, yeah. B Crumbs helped me yesterday. Me and her were looking into it, and we found a whole bunch of stuff at once. It's really, really, really bad. I wanted to show you guys just what his dad on the left, well, that was a few years ago, but on the right is what he looks like now, and he does videos. He calls himself Pastor Muir, and I'll just tell you guys one little thing about this, which pretty much sums it up. On their YouTube channel, they have a music video called Polygyny. And if you guys don't know, because I didn't know, I'd heard of polygamy, but not polygyny. And it means one man with many wives. And I wrote it down because I wanted to read to you guys exactly what the lyrics of this song is. And it says, chilling with my brother, same father, different mother. How sweet and precious for us to dwell together. So what does that tell you guys? Just that alone. And there's so much. I don't think that he's the main pastor. There is another pastor, Dow, and he has his own YouTube channel too. And oh my gosh, you guys, there's so much. I want to show you guys this first video that explains basically what I've told you guys already, but let's look at this and make sure that I didn't forget anything. Let's see here. I'm going to stop this video because I have the YouTube video that I can play that doesn't have the ad in it. That's what I've been doing, you guys, looking up the article, but then also finding it on YouTube so that we, hey, Adrian, good to see you, dude. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, it says Indiana State Police are looking for the public's help in locating a 14-year-old, Bryson Mure from Logansport, who may be the victim of abuse. Bryson is the son of former Colts defensive lineman Daniel Muir, who is now a person of interest in Indiana State Police investigation. See, it says right here he's a person of interest. And it says right here that they haven't been able to get a hold of his parents since June 16th, but they did talk to him yesterday. Talked to both of them yesterday, and they were allowed on the premises, but they don't want to answer any questions about that part, allegedly, I think. So, let's see here. So right here, you guys, it says that his grandmother was concerned the teen was being battered because of a black eye he had, and it tells how she called the police reporting the alleged battery. And it says it was just minutes between when Kristen and Bryson left the home and when Garfield Heights police pulled the Suburban over. It was minutes. It wasn't a very long time whatsoever. But in that period of time, Bryson wasn't able to be found. We don't know where he went. So let me see. There was one part down here. 2 days later, the Cass County Department of Child Services asked Indiana State Police investigators to look into allegations of domestic battery inflicted upon the 14-year-old in his Logansport home. This was after the department wasn't able to get a hold of the family. And it says they were repeatedly reached out to them. And right here, Servant Leaders Foundation. That's what I couldn't remember, you guys. That's a nonprofit religious group. That's who owns the property where the family lives and their car. And I was watching another video, and somebody said that it reminded them of the Branch Davidians and the Daybills because the child was missing. So how ominous is that, you guys? And it says they had 13 affiliated ministries. I know that they have some in Indiana and then also Tennessee and also Wisconsin, I believe. Hey, Neat Noodle, good to see you. Thank you for coming by. Oh, he is, Jennifer. Yep. That's what I saw too. Jennifer says is the main pastor for Indiana. Yep. And here's his photos. And let's see here. And then this tells about the YouTube channel that I was telling you guys. It says if you scroll back through the Straightway YouTube page, you'll find a man who appears to be former cult Daniel Muir preaching from a stage to a cheering crowd. The video's from 4 months ago. Yeah, okay, so now I'll show you guys the YouTube video that goes along with this. Hang on a second. I'll share it with you guys too, so you can go back and watch it later on your own time if you would like. And I also want to keep reminding you guys that I did pin to the top of the chat his missing folder, his missing page on missing people in America, because there's not a NCMEC page. So, Neat Noodle, I was telling them yesterday how B Crumbs, me and her went down this rabbit hole, and she helped me so very much. I appreciate her so much for helping me.
A plea for help finding a teenage boy missing from Logansport. State police say Bryson Mure may be the victim of abuse. The 14-year-old is the son of a former Colts player, and tonight that former player is a person of interest in this investigation. Thanks for joining us today live at 5. I'm Dan Spieler.
And I'm Nick McGill. Now, Bryson hasn't been seen for 10 days, and investigators also haven't been able to get a hold of his parents. Fox 59's Eric Graves followed up on this today, and it led him to the gated off property of a religious group in rural central Indiana.
Private property, no trespassing, plenty of signs to let people know the message here. This is where ISP says the Muir family lives, who they can't get a hold of. This is 14-year-old Bryson Mure. Indiana State Police are trying to find him. Bryson is the son of Daniel and Kristen Muir. Daniel is a former Colts defensive lineman and now a person of interest in the ISP investigation into his son's location.
He's our primary concern. His well-being and his safety is of utmost importance.
Bryson's last known location was
I can't remember if it's this video or another one that I had, but they say that it didn't meet the requirements for an Amber Alert, and I just don't get it, you guys. I do not get it. They had the make and model of the car that he was last seen in, and they had pictures, you guys. They had pictures from a few minutes before he was last seen, where his face looked awful, you guys. So what else do they need? I don't know if that would have helped in this situation, but it very well could have, because the DCFS investigation wasn't open until 2 days after. But they did say they had been trying to contact the parents before that. But I don't know, you guys.
his grandma's house outside of Cleveland, Ohio. At the time, he had this black eye. Bryson left with his mother, Kristen, in a white 2015 Chevy Suburban. Bryson's grandmother called police, worrying her grandson was being beaten. State Police Captain Ron Galvez says minutes after that call, Kristen in that Suburban was pulled over, but Bryson wasn't there.
In that period of time, Bryson wasn't to be found. We don't know where he went.
The case was passed to the Indiana Department of Child Services and then State Police on June 18th. This brings us to here, the 1700 block of West US 24 near Logansport, where ISP says the Muirs live. The property and the Chevy Suburban Kristen Muir was driving are both owned by a group called the Servants Leaders Foundation, a nonprofit religious group based out of Kokomo. ISP has not been able to get a hold of either the Muir parents or Bryson.
We really started looking at this as an endangered missing person.
We visited.
And I do have to say now that they have gotten a hold of the parents. After 11 days, they have gotten a hold of the parents, but still no closer to finding Bryson. I think that the police, what they said was they're beginning to cooperate, is what they said, whatever that means.
To the edge of the property Wednesday, you can see several homes and cars on the road. No sign of a white Suburban or any people, though. The only sign says, "Welcome to Straightway, Indiana, Goshen." Googling Straightway, you'll find Straightway Truth Ministry, an extreme religious group out of Tennessee that some consider a cult. Adding Daniel Muir's name to that search, and you'll find a video on the Straightway Truth Ministry's YouTube page from 4 months ago showing a man who appears to be Muir preaching and referencing a place called Goshen.
And I have to tell you what else I've seen. Not him, but the main pastor, Dow. I saw him in front. He was at his desk, and behind him were pew-pews on the wall, hung up like big ones. And he was drinking, and he was cursing. And I'm not trying to judge you guys, but it does say that we're supposed to hold each other accountable, our brothers and sisters, and we're supposed to go to them in private. And somebody please correct me if I'm wrong. We're supposed to go to them in private and express our concerns. And if that doesn't help, we're supposed to go to the church elders. And I don't know the Bible as well as I should have, you guys. I will admit that. And I'm trying to learn, but I do know my heart, and what I've seen just is not right at all. Hey, Nature Rocks, it's good to see you. I was going to check on you later today. If I don't see you guys, I tend to worry, and I check on you. I checked on one other person today. Yeah, so I know that speaking about religion, sometimes it's a touchy topic. They always say don't talk about politics or religion, but we have to in this circumstance. Neat Noodle, that is what it says. I thought so. Yeah, I thought so. So, oh, Trista says yes, Mo. That would be correct. I do believe. Thanks, guys. You know that that I don't know my Bible a whole lot, but I've read the New Testament, and I do need to go back and read everything else. But That's what I thought that it said too. Yeah. So it's just not right. And I think that we're supposed to be good examples, and I just don't feel this is a good example at all.
The same name of the sign outside Muir's Cass County property. State police want anyone who could know anything to reach out.
Of course, the public includes friends and family of Bryson, that if anybody knows where he's at or how we can get a hold of him, we need to know that.
In Logansport, Eric Graves, Fox 59 News.
All right, Eric, thank you. Meanwhile, 12-year
Okay, let me see what else I have for you guys. I do have something updated, a little bit newer. And then after we watch this, we'll listen to the grandma, and then I'll show you guys a little bit what I found about this Straightway Truth Ministries. This one I'll have to show you guys the video on here because I didn't find it on YouTube. Let me get through the let me see here. Okay. It says he was last seen with a black eye and wearing an orange Under Armour shirt and blue jeans. I need to write that down. I didn't see a description. Oh, a silver alert has been issued. They must have changed that. This wasn't what it said a few minutes ago. You guys know how they update articles and they'll say something else from when you looked at it last? Oh, that's okay, Aaron. You don't worry a bit about us. We're good. A silver alert has been declared for Bryson Mure, described by Indiana State Police as 6'2". I don't think that could be right, you guys. You guys saw the picture that I showed you. I don't think that a 14-year-old could be 6'2" and 185 pounds. Black male with black hair and brown eyes. He was last seen with a black eye and then wearing the orange Under Armour shirt. State police say despite Bryson Muir's parents cooperating with police, Daniel and Kristen Muir have since backed out of an agreement to bring Bryson to an ISP post in Peru and speak with detectives. Wow, you guys, I didn't see this earlier. Adrian, you're a beautiful soul too. You sure are. We all are, you guys. We absolutely are. I think I've spoken to all of you privately before, and you're all really good friends and good people. You sure are. Oh, yeah, Jennifer. Yeah, he might be then. I didn't know that they had made an agreement to bring him to the ISP post. Wow. It says that they're both a former Indianapolis Colts player, now named as a person of interest, are in the early stage of cooperation with investigators. That's what I was telling you guys about, the early stage of cooperation. Well, it looked like they're not cooperating anymore. Let's see what it says about the grandma. It says Bryson was last seen by non-parental family members on June 16th after leaving his grandmother's home. So that's just about what I told you guys already. It says she reported to police that the child had a black eye. See, you guys, trigger warning. This was the picture that I didn't want to show you guys earlier, but it's going to be here and in a video that I'm going to show you guys later too. But this is what has me all upset, you guys. So yeah, I said in my community post that she had good reason, and that was why, because of that picture. And she said he might be being abused by his parents. And it was just minutes between when the son and mother left the home and when local police pulled over her Suburban. However, he was not found inside the car. Let's see. And then I think this is about all that I told you guys already. And then it says Logansport property, possible cult connections, like I was telling you guys about that too. And then there's this sign outside of their house, and it says, "Welcome to Straightway, Indiana, Goshen." So that was the name of the YouTube channel I was telling you guys about. This is a Google search of Straightway will lead you to Straightway Truth Ministries, a Tennessee-based religious group that some online have labeled a cult. It says it's a nation of Hebrew Israelites who are commandment keepers, obedient to Yah and our Savior, Jesus the Christ. I was going to ask you, Trista, I know you're probably going into work right now, but they always say Jesus the Christ, and I've never heard that before. It says, Galvanese said last week that a silver or amber alert had not been issued yet because the information police have about Bryson's situation does not meet the criteria. So what does meet the criteria, you guys? What more information could they have? So that makes me upset. His father is a person of interest. So I saw in another video that somebody said they think that he told his grandma what happened because why would they say the father was a person of interest and not the mother or somebody else? Because his mother was last who he was seen with. I don't know. I'll play this video for you guys now.
All right, welcome back. We have some breaking new developments in a story we've been following all week. State police and child services have made contact with the parents of a missing teen.
Yeah, Fox 59's Eric Graves first followed the story of Bryson Mure missing in Cass County. He got the call from state police and joins us now here in studio with an update on the case. Eric.
This has been a bit unusual since the start and has kind of just gotten a little bit weirder with this update today. Bryson Mure, last seen leaving his grandmother's house more than a week ago. He's the son of Daniel and Christian Muir. Daniel is a former Indianapolis Colt and someone police have been trying to talk to for days. Now, for the first time since state police got involved, they've made contact with the Muir parents, but police say they still don't know where Bryson is. Bryson's believed to be endangered. He left his grandmother's house near Cleveland with his mother in a white 2015 Chevy Suburban on June 16th. But that vehicle was pulled over minutes later, and police say Bryson wasn't in it. At the time, Bryson had this black eye, the one you're seeing on your screen right now. His grandmother first called police because she was worried he was being beaten. Now, I'm told state police and the Cass County DCFS finally got a hold of Bryson's parents this morning and went onto the large property where they live in rural Logansport.
I'm sorry, you guys.
This
I should have
when we were there yesterday.
told you trigger warning again about the video. About the picture. It's really, really upsetting, you guys. I know that this is true crime and we will see things like this and we hear these stories all the time, but it's not usual that we actually see the photos like that. Okay.
The property is owned by a group called Servant Leaders Foundation. It's a nonprofit religious group based out of Kokomo. Again, state police tell us the Muirs are beginning to cooperate with this investigation, but they still don't know where Bryson is. If you know anything about where he is, you're asked to call police. We have much more information on this story on our website for now, though.
And even just since this video, it looks like this video was yesterday. So even just since this video, I guess they made an agreement to meet with the ISP and they backed out of that. Okay, let me see what else I've got for you guys. Hang on just one second. Okay, let's see. Oh, the grandma. Now we can see what the grandma says. She was the last person to see him before his before his mom. Remember, his mom left. So this would be his mother, Kristen. It would be her mom. And I'll share this with you guys so that you can watch it on your own time, too. Let me see here. I showed this once before, but I need to show you guys again all that I'm looking at back here. I've got my StreamYard pulled up on Chrome, and then I've got my YouTube chat popped out over here on the right, and I have to slide it down to get to my videos. And then on my far right, I have my iPad with all my notes. Oh, that's okay, Nature Rocks. I hope your appointment goes well. And you holler at me if you need anything, okay? I hope you have a great weekend too. We'll see you later.
They're still worried.
11 days. That's how long it's been since his grandma or anyone else has last seen or heard from 14-year-old Bryson Mure, the son of former Colts player Daniel Muir.
I've spoken to Daniel's mother, and everyone is concerned about Bryson.
So she's saying here that she spoke to the paternal grandparents too, Daniel's parents. So that's good too.
As well as the other children.
The teen was last seen on June 16th, leaving his...
Wait, that hit me too, you guys. She said they're worried about Bryson and the other children. So I don't know how many brothers and sisters that Bryson has, but I'm sure there's a lot of children involved with this church.
Grandma Cheryl Wright's house in Ohio with his mom, Kristen Muir. His grandma says her daughter told her they were heading back home to Logansport. But Indiana State Police say when Kristen was pulled over by Garfield Heights Police in Ohio shortly after she left, there was no signs of Bryson.
He could be anywhere.
On Thursday, Indiana State Police and the Cass County Department of Child Services say they finally reached Bryson's parents for the first time.
DCS and ISP were able to actually go into the residence on a property that's owned by a religious group there in.
So 11 days, you guys. If they weren't allowed to get into the property voluntarily, you would think that they would have enough probable cause for a search warrant. You guys know what I'm saying? I don't know about that, you guys.
In Logansport, and did an on-site survey, but there was no Bryson.
Bryson's grandma got DCS involved when he showed up to her Ohio home with a black eye and swollen face. She called police after Bryson left with his mother because she suspected abuse to her grandson in that Logansport home, which police say is owned by Servants Leader Foundation.
He was so shocked from even being off that land. He's not even familiar with anything outside of that land. And we've talked.
She just said that he was even shocked to be off of that land. So that makes me wonder what else has been going on here before this. If he hadn't been seen, have people been able to go in and see him? You do think you remember seeing this, Aaron? Yeah. I haven't seen a whole lot about it, but there definitely needs to be.
Talked about those concerns, and she always assured me that the children were safe.
Wright is now begging Bryson's parents to come forward if they know anything.
They know where he is, and they need to tell the police.
A similar message echoed by Logansport residents who shop just down the street from the Muir's home.
I have two little girls, 3.5 and 4, so I couldn't imagine not having my baby. If he is with his parents, I suggest they do the right thing.
For residents, police, and his grandma, all they want is the safe return of 14-year-old Bryson.
Ultimately, we want to get eyes on Bryson. We want to ensure his safety and his well-being.
I want to see him and make sure he's okay.
Watch breaking news.
So that kind of brings everything into focus and kind of makes you worry more. I do want to mention again that at the top of the chat, I do have his missing page on Missing People of America. You can also go to their Facebook page. They make tons of posters for missing people, you guys. They're always a good resource. If I don't find what I need, which I'm going to be honest, this is the very first time I haven't found what I needed to on NCMEC, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. This is the first time I haven't found what I needed on there, but at least they do have his page on Missing People in America, so you guys can go there. or on my community page, I did make my own poster. Okay, now I want to talk to you guys about this ministry. I want to show you guys, there was this man named Brian Howard on YouTube, and he made a video. I'm not sure if he sent it privately to Pastor Dow or if he made it public, but I want to show you guys Dow's response to it first, and then I'll show you guys. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Trigger warning, there is offensive language in this.
Well. Well, I sit back and I looked at some of the videos, or a lot of them. What can you say? After a long absence, I have no idea why Brian Howard ended up being so offended. But this is not the first time. It's good. It's actually good. Elder Rufus and all of them know that it's the operating procedure by the way that I act whenever someone is slandering me, misrepresenting me, or falsifying me. I want the information to be out there. I have no corner to go run hide in. My life is like an open book, easy to be read of all men. And I tell you what, I really do resent the fact, though, and I hate the fact. I understand what it means to be betrayed. I understand how Jesus, Yahshua, you can go through, felt about betrayal, especially when you give the guy a platform to be able to say what he needs to say or what he feels like he needs to say, and then we don't hear from him for a while. And next thing you know, I even reached out to him. And asked him how he was doing, and he gave no indication whatsoever at all to me that he was offended. It's very unfortunate. It's sad, but this is the point I want to make. How in the world do you expect to levy charges and point fingers towards me or anyone else when you breach the actual order of the book?
This is the guy that I was telling you about that did his live video sitting down at his desk with the pew-pews behind him, drinking beer and cussing and things like that. This is the leader. And he's replying to someone who left the ministry.
If you, Brian Howard, I got so used to hearing Coward, I thought it was his last name. But you would think that if Brian Howard had a fault with me, and since he's so much of a Bible expert, the scriptures teach you to go straight to your brother. That's what it does. So that's why I would insert that he's a coward, because he didn't do that. Now, as far as I'm concerned, goodbye, good riddance, and so the hell on with your sorry ass. And then to sit up there and try to threaten me, to tell me if I say something that you're going to come after me with something verbally or whatever the hell you say, man, you kiss my ass, you punk ass bitch. That's what you do.
Sorry, guys, I didn't remember that it was this bad. Goodness gracious. I would have gave you all even more warning. I watched this early this morning, and I must not have been awake yet. But yeah, it's bad.
Can do. I can tell you that straight up, and if I was in front of your face, I'd tell you that to your damn face, and I hope you get this damn video. And you ain't gonna tell me what I am and I cannot do either. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna make sure I do make a video and expose your funky ass. I promise you that. Now let's see what you got then. Bring it all out, every damn thing you got. But see, it's sad. Isn't it sad? It's very unfortunate, isn't it? You see all the testimonies of these brothers that I've been honorable, just straight up honorable, about as honorable as you can be. And where did this come from? Who knows? Now, what do you do when you got one person who has got a case of who knows what of the offense? And then you got all these other brothers come on there and testify against it. And you know what's really sad? Him and Bud actually was pretty close on here. They spoke a lot. And Bud was the first one to come out and condemn him. He cut that and severed that so-called brotherhood, friendship, relationship right off the bat. And I can commend that. I can respect that because he knew that the guy was falsifying information against the pastor. It's unfortunate. It really is. I wish that people would actually.
That's what his comebacks a lot of the time are, that people are falsifying information against him. But wait until I show you guys the video of Brian Howard that he's calling Brian Coward. Wait till I show you guys that.
Instead of expecting more out of others than they're capable of producing of themselves, I wish that they would be honorable, but hey, we live in a fallen world, and that's just the way it is. So don't sit up and tell me that we're going to sit up here and be offended or be hurt over a loss with someone who don't even do the book themselves, don't even live the book themselves. So now, all the elders and everybody knows that that's my standard operating procedure. Anytime someone says something about me, we don't marginalize information. We put it out there so that the assembly will judge. Now, the book says that we're an open book, easily to be read of all men. If I'm running around trying to do something in the corner, hiding in the corner, I think I'm in probably the best corner that there is, because you know what the best hiding place is? Right out in the open.
I was muted, you guys. That makes 3 times, I think. Oh my goodness. I need to start a counter like Alex does. Oh my goodness. I said, hey, Jim, good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. We're deep diving into what some call a cult, and we have a 14-year-old boy missing at the center of it all. So now I want to show you guys Brian, what he calls Brian Coward. I'll show you guys what started his response, I believe. I believe this came first. No, I think this came after because he mentions it, but you'll be able to tell the difference in their approaches. I'll share this with you guys too, so you can watch it later. This channel is Brian's channel, I believe, because the description, he talks about it, and he says, my testimony of when I woke up and realized that Straightway and its narcissist, lying, self-proclaimed anointed con man, Charles Dowell, is a cult, a total fraud, and the leader is nothing more than well, he uses some bad language too. You guys can read the well, I didn't even see down here that there's affidavits and everything he's got listed. This is definitely a deep dive. I was telling B Crumbs yesterday, I said, we've both fell down a rabbit hole, but I'm glad I'm not by myself. That's the link to the video that I'm going to show you guys now, Brian's video.
Others, it is with much thought and prayer to you.
It's hard to see because he's got it sideways, but you can hear it, and I also turned on the closed captions.
God, that I come to you today with this message. I'm going to read this so I don't mess up my words. You need to hear this directly from me, face to face, or at least here on Marco Polo, so that my words, actions, and work won't be taken out of context, distorted, or covered up. I'm a man and my last name is Howard. It's not Coward. I can no longer be part of Straightway. There are too many underhanded and dishonest tactics taking place upon a people for me to remain silent. When I came into Straightway, at first it was very inviting because of you brothers. You are beautiful. Y'all had stirred me again, this time through the history of his people, the fact that their true identity had been hidden by the beast system. That was the draw. After listening and observing many things, Yah's Ruach began to tug at me, and I know it has been tugging at many of you. I was confused at first because I did not want this to turn out like the rest of the worldly ministries that we have already been a witness to. The problem was me. I was not listening to what Yah was putting in front of me. I was caught up in emotions and charismatic theatrics that are supported by a crafty system that mirrors the playbook of the apostolic, Pentecostal, Christian, pagan cult religion, merely dressed up as Hebrew Israel. All the while closely following the doctrines and traditions of the very pagan cult system that Yah had delivered me and my family from, simply minus the obvious pagan holidays. If you're given information at different levels based on what you contribute in money, you have a problem.
Did you guys hear that? He said, let me rewind that just a second, because he said, if you're given something about different donations, I think what he said, I missed it. I was trying to speed it up a little bit, but I'm usually listening in 2 times speed, but I can't on this one. Let me rewind it just a little bit, you guys.
Charismatic theatrics that are supported by a crafty system that mirrors the playbook of the apostolic, Pentecostal, Christian, pagan cult religion, merely dressed up as Hebrew Israel. All the while closely following the doctrines and traditions of the very pagan cult system that Yah had delivered me and my family from, simply minus the obvious pagan holidays. If you're given information at different levels based on what you contribute in money, you have a problem.
He said, if you're given information based on different levels by the amount of money that you give, that was a point that I wanted to remember.
This is not the Father's will. The Freemason pagan churches do this exact same thing. If you're pressured to give tithes because of social pressure by the heads of assemblies, all the while the public and unseen are given the message that a bowl is not passed around on Shabbat, you have a problem.
He said, if you're pressured to give money, I'm going to show you guys their Patreon too. The church does have a Patreon, Straightway Truth Ministries. They have all kinds of social media. And on their Patreon, their highest tier, I think, is $100.
If you can't bring serious scriptural questions to the table without being passively, aggressively attacked on multiple platforms by the leader, all the while never being directly named, you have a problem. That is an abomination to misuse the platform for personal and uneducated attacks. If you're told that nobody else but the leader and a handful of his appointees have discernment, or you're not going to bring anything to the table that they don't already know, etc., you have a problem. Where is the humility? And where is the
So he was saying that the leader and his few chosen members of the congregation, that if you bring any questions to them, then you don't know what you're talking about, basically.
If you're pressured to sign over your property, earnings, retirement income, or anything else for that matter to a worldly ministry and
Whoa. Did you guys hear that? He said sign over your property and your retirement. How crazy is that?
To a trust of any kind so that the leader can control you financially, you have a problem. This is not scriptural, and don't let your ears be tickled. It is disgusting to see this happen, not only against me, but many others in the past. So pay attention in the future, brothers. Yah has nothing to do with this behavior. It is wicked. Many of you will view this and do exactly what has already been shown to me, and that's okay. If you have ever spent any real time with me, you know just who I am and what the truth about me is. Nothing but love, but with a firm hand and zero patience for games and misdirection. Charles Dow, I bring no false witness against you. Your own mouth has already convicted you.
Charles Dow, that's who we saw before this. He's speaking to the man in the video that we watched right before this. It's very different approaches, huh?
Your understanding of this beast system and the contract with the devil is severely lacking. This is not by mistake. It is because you enjoy the adversary benefits. You can yell, scream, and attempt to intimidate others all you want. Have at it. It's your modus operandi. That has become apparent to the point that it's as predictable as the next page in a child's book. If you have a problem with me, be a man and say it to my face instead of using pathetic tactics. You demonstrate extreme narcissism, hypocrisy in the highest form, doublespeak, and probably the most prideful and boastful spirit I have ever come across in this walk. There, I said it from my own lips, face to face, and in front of all the brothers, so that there can be no doubt and misdirection. Oh yes, I already know what your response will be. Who, me? What did I do? I don't know what he's talking about. Get real, as Yah's my witness. If you so much as slander or lie.
So when they're saying Yah, they mean God. In case anybody was confused.
Me in any way, you will be undressed publicly for all to see. And you know that I'm more than capable, so tread lightly. To you brothers, know this. I love Yah more than I love you. But I do love you, and that's why this message is going out. You will be told what to do, how to do it, and on and on and on. I will be labeled this, that, and the other, but that's okay. Consider the source and the agenda. Cui bono, who benefits? Guard yourself. Do not fall into the trap of idolatry and the traditions that are from the pagan cult church system. Cover your ears from blasphemy and worship no man. My salvation in relationship with the Most High Yah does not depend on Straightway, and neither does yours. Yah is my salvation and only Yah. Only in truth, Brother Brian.
So that was totally different, huh, guys? And there is so many. I mean, if you guys want to look, I want to share Brian's channel this video with you guys so you can look it up on your own time. But there's so many instances of this. This is just one. And I found out of all those, I did find one person that had a good experience there, but it was just an overnight thing. He took his family, and it was just one instance that I saw. But there's one more thing that I want to tell you guys. There is actually another NFL player that is also part of this church, and his name is Kabir. His first name is Kabir, and they call him KGB. And he was with the Green Bay Packers from 2000 to 2009. And he was actually involved in a quote-unquote scandal that the police were involved. And this was back in 2019 around Christmas. He left his wife and their 8 kids back in 2017. I saw an interview with him, and he is describing how that he wanted their children to wear head coverings and a bunch of other stuff, and his wife didn't agree. So he left her and his 8 kids in 2017, and then in 2019 his kids were going to school and participating in this Christmas program. And this Straightway Truth Ministries, they do not believe in Christmas or Easter or Halloween or even birthdays. I don't think they don't believe in any holidays like that. So he was upset that his kids were going to this program. So he sent 2 of his quote unquote brothers there, and he tells a few different stories to the police. He tells them that he sent his brothers there to get pictures to prove, I think in the custody battle or something like that, that his kids were participating in this program. But you guys, it was streamed to Facebook. And so that wasn't a good excuse. But these two guys that he sent there, when the police came, there was, they found two on them, 34 rounds of ammunition, and a 4.5-inch knife. So this is, something else that happened with this church. I'll show you guys this article. So I don't know why this particular church attracts NFL players, but it does for some reason. And so I'll show you guys this article too. And another thing, he was showing YouTube videos before this threatening to send people to the kids' church programs. And he said, don't worry about it, you guys. African American people don't do the mass, white people do. And it was two white people that he sent to this Christmas program. So this is why that the church was really upset too, because that's a threat. If you ask me, that's a straight up threat. So this shows the article that I found. It shows that the church was granted a restraining order against these two brothers and him. And it says Providence Ministries, that's where the church program was held, was granted restraining orders Friday prohibiting Kabir, I can't say his last name, and two associates from visiting, court records show. And it said that Sami and DeSmith each faced 3 misdemeanor charges: disorderly conduct, resisting an officer, and carrying a concealed weapon for the December 17th incident. And then it says they were called to the church around 6:15. A Christmas concert was being held at the church by students from a Green Bay Christian school. And it says that when officers arrived, they talked to the school director, who told them 2 men, later identified as 22-year-old DeSmith and 24-year-old Jordan Sami, were not affiliated with the church and asked to leave 3 separate times. And it says the complaint describes them as followers of the Kabir, who we were talking about, a former Green Bay Packers defensive end. And it says the complaint said the school director told them that him and his followers make YouTube videos, and he sent threatening messages to him and the school. The director went on to say he believes the 2 followers inside the church possibly saw the videos posted earlier that day. And what I wanted to read to you guys was what Kabir had to say. He said Kabir first stated he was here to watch the show and his brothers were saving him seats, although he was wearing sweatpants. When I asked him if his children were currently inside the church, he stated they are not children, they are his property, you guys, quote unquote property, and that he would be getting his property and leaving. Ron stated he had court paperwork at the school down the road and would go get it. According to the paperwork, Kabir and the children's mother have 50-50 custody. However, Ron said Kabir hasn't seen his children in about 2 years. So he was so worried about this Christmas pageant that they were going to be in, but he hadn't seen them in 2 years. I think what I know, Aaron says, I want to deep dive more on this, Mo. I know you're going to be down the same rabbit hole as me and B Crumbs. I only heard about this yesterday morning, I think, and I made my community post. I wanted to get it out ASAP, and I didn't have time to make a short yet because I went down this, and it was just so much information. So he said he hadn't seen his children in about 2 years, and the judge said if the children are already attending this school and practicing this religion, they will stay in it. Kabir argued with officers for a long time. He said he would leave the property, but he needed his brothers to come with him. I told him that if we could properly identify the 2 males, which I would need his help with because the 2 wouldn't talk to police, then I would consider releasing them. Kabir walked over to the squad car and was also on the phone with another male who was ahead of him. Kabir said John Doe could provide his name, which he did as Ryan D. Smith. I asked Smith what his birth date was. Kabir stated they don't use birth dates and that I would just have to understand this as part of their religion. I told Kabir that a birthday was an essential part of me properly identifying John Doe. I also spoke with the male on the phone who seemed to be a leader of some sort. The male, Kabir, and the police went in circles, and it was decided that the two males would just be going to jail on their charges, and we would not be waiting around to see if information could be provided to us. At this time, Kabir was ending his phone call with the leader and had made at least 2 to 3 strong target glances at Sergeant Denny's duty weapon. Sergeant Denny was going to place Kabir in handcuffs for all of our safety, as we didn't know his intentions of those glances. Once officers grabbed his arms, Kabir became very argumentative with officers. He believed he did nothing wrong, and this was happening because he was a black man. Sergeant Denny stated Kabir's choice was to get in his vehicle and leave immediately, or he would be jailed as well. Kabir, after a few more minutes of arguing, got into his vehicle and left. It sounded like he wanted to be arrested, you guys, doesn't it? Trista says, yes, me too. Makes me want to drive up to Logansport. I live 1 hour and 46 minutes south of Logansport. Yep, I know, Trista. I know. And I'm going to say it again. I'm really angry there was no Amber Alert, you guys. This was 11 days ago. And they just got onto the property yesterday. So what I'm telling you guys about, this is Kabir. He is another former NFL player associated with this church. I don't want us to get confused. Daniel Muir is Bryson's dad, and he has his own YouTube channel too, like we saw the news talking about earlier. And there's all kinds of videos on there, and I'm going to have to go through them some more. But it says the complaint says police searched both men. Some of the items found were what I was telling you guys. A knife that was 9 inches total. I didn't see that, you guys. It says with a 4.5-inch blade and an extra magazine. Neither had a valid carrying a concealed weapon permit, according to the complaint. KGB Kabir posted several videos to YouTube explaining that he directed the two men to record the Christmas show. Well, I'm wondering what kind of phone or video camera that they brought to record this. And in one article I saw it state that he didn't know it was going to be on Facebook, or he wouldn't have seen them. That's his tale. I sit on mine. You know what I'm saying? For real, for real. Yes, Jen, absolutely. Trista, if you do, be careful and bring someone with you. Absolutely. We do. Well, this proves that they don't care to bring weapons places. Absolutely. Okay, now that I have introduced you guys to Kabir, there was a whole expose, I guess you would call it, done about him in Sports Illustrated. And it tells all about his history. This episode, it tells about the church, and it goes into it tells about 2 women that allegedly escaped from this church, and it tells about the horrific circumstances they went through. And it reminds me of what was the name of that cult where the leader went to prison and he's still in prison? I can't remember it now, but that's exactly what it reminded me of. We can maybe go through that next time if you guys want to. There is, I did want to tell you guys this too. There's one more thing that I saw. It was Dow, it was the guy that was going off on Brian Howard, him. And he was at church, and he had about 4 or 5 young women lined up. And I don't want to show this to you guys. I have to think about it, but I'm going to explain it to you. He had 4 or 5 young women lined up at the front of the church, and he went down through each one of them and asked them, do you cook? Do you clean? Do you cook? Do you clean? And they all said yes. And he said, this is what you want in women, something like this. It's not word for word, but he said, these are the young women that will that God wants you to be with. He said that will be good wives. He said, you don't go and ask them, do you have a career? Do you have a college degree? And it was so demeaning, you guys. It was really, really bad. Thanks, Adrian. You got, yeah, Warren Jeffs, Jim. That's who it was. Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of. That's exactly who this reminds me of. Yeah. Adrian, we are a beautiful family here. We have a great community, you guys. I will always brag on you guys, 1000%. I'll show you guys one more thing that I wanted to show you guys. Let me show you guys the Patreon of the Faithway Ministries. Straightway Ministries, sorry. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of this. They have, it's not showing here, but yesterday I thought I looked at it and they had over 2,000 and something members. And yep, Warren Jeffs, that's who I was thinking of. Yeah, that's exactly who I was thinking of. Okay, they have $1 all the way up to $100 a month. And for the $100, it says the ministry appreciates your monthly pledge of $100. You will receive occasional exclusive content for power level members, private scriptural newsletter, discounts on Straightway apparel, as well as uncensored, big capital letters, uncensored, patron-only content direct from Pastor Dow. So I wonder what this uncensored stuff is. We've seen enough uncensored of this fella, I believe, you guys. And they have merch, Straightway apparel. Okay, let's see what you get for $1. The ministry appreciates your monthly pledge of $1. Get an uncensored, patron-only perspective direct from Pastor Dow. Well, it says it's got $5 a month here that it's got outlined that it wants me to join, probably because I'm on Alex's Patreon. She's the only one that I subscribe to, I believe. And then also B Crumbs found me the on the website it has a part for offerings. Because remember what Brian Howard said? He was telling us about how you get different information by how much you donate. And he also said that people sign their land over and their retirements and all kinds of crazy stuff. Let's see here. I wanted to show you guys this to show you what this is on their website. And it says tithes and offerings. If you wish to bless Pastor Charles Dow and his community with an offering, we greatly appreciate it. All tithes and offerings go strictly to Pastor Dow and his community. They are used to pay for local community programs, learning and teaching materials, books, building up our local community, and purchasing land and buildings for other church branches so we can grow this wonderful ministry. So we know that they purchase land because it's the land where the Muirs live, and it's the car that they drive. And it says community garden, community livestock, internet bandwidth, service and equipment, which allows us to bring you live sermons and church service over the internet. Let's see here. This says the Bible teaches us that the borrower is servant to the lender. Our goal is to get people out of the wicked beast system of debt slavery. We use tithes and offerings for this purpose. We build up a local community first by purchasing several acres of land and building a tabernacle. Then we build a greenhouse and plant a community garden. So what Brian was saying sounds like it's absolutely true, where you give all your money to them and then you have to depend on them. So you're not a debt to slavery, but you owe somebody, you know. Then we get chickens and livestock, and finally we start building homes on the property. Our goal is to do this without going into debt, and thus far we've been successful. Well, that's good to know. The more people that start getting into this kind of thinking, the sooner humanity can leave the old beast system behind and start living as true free people under Yahweh's laws and commandments. And he's got an address here to send your money orders or certified checks to. And I did want to mention that on Bryson's dad's YouTube page, he hasn't posted anything exactly, Jim, debt slavery, but give me $100 a month. Exactly. Basically, that's it. You know, I did want to say that Bryson's dad on his YouTube page, he hasn't posted anything new in 3 weeks. But Pastor Dow that we saw, he posts things daily. So you would think that they would use that opportunity of what big social media platforms they have and get out this information about this missing 14-year-old child. A missing 14-year-old child. I don't want him to get lost in all of this about the church and about all of that. It's about this missing child. I want to show you guys the missing flyer one more time. And I'll read it to you guys. Like I said, I had to make this, so give me some grace. It's the first one that I ever made. And when I first started making this, his dad, Daniel, was missing too, so I had his picture on here too. But it says 14-year-old Bryson was last seen leaving his grandmother's residence in Cleveland, Ohio on 6/16/24 with his mother, Kristen Muir, in a 2015 white Chevrolet Suburban. So remember that if you lived around this area in Garfield Heights, Ohio, and you can go back this far, I know it's been a long time, but if you can go back this far on your cameras or Ring doorbells or stuff like that, and if you have seen this car stop somewhere or things like that, please report it to the Indiana State Police, Peru. It says his grandmother was concerned he was being battered because he had a black eye. Shortly after they left, his grandmother reported her concerns to police. In the mere minutes it took police to stop the car, Bryson disappeared. His father, former NFL Colts defensive lineman Daniel Muir, is a person of interest. DCS has made contact with his parents, but Bryson is still missing. So let's not forget that, you guys. And it says they are urging anyone with information about Bryson or his parents to contact the Indiana State Police Peru post, and then it gives the number. Oh, you guys, so what are you guys thinking? It's not good vibes at all. And I told Trista and Jen that I felt bad because my faith means so much to me, and you know, they believe in God and Jesus too, so I kind of felt bad talking about them, but I have to remember it's not the same. It's definitely not the same as those of us. And I saw them speak badly about Christians. I saw one guy who was part of this church. He said that when I think of Christian women, I think about Jezebel, and he was just talking awful about Christian women, and I have to remember that it's not the same, absolutely not the same. And one of the leaders is a person of interest in domestic child abuse of this 14-year-old child, and we all saw the pictures. So that's the way I justified it in my mind, that speaking about them and speaking about this is not bad, and it's not the same. I don't like any of this either, NorCal Jim. I absolutely don't. That's what I was thinking, Jen. Okay, they do have so many members all over, and it could be possible that his mom, when she left the grandmother's, she could have called somebody to meet and pick him up, but I'm sure they've checked the phone records too, so I don't know. Well, Jen, we did hear that one interview where the grandmother who saw him, she did speak out a little bit. She said that she had been concerned about the kids, and Kristen kept telling her that everything was okay. She said she'd been previously concerned because he wasn't even used to being off the property. And it was a good question that you asked too, Jen, about his school. If he went off the property to school, I'm not sure of that. Yeah, it's bad, Jen. It really is. Oh, the rest of the family. No, I don't think so. Aaron says, I don't think it's bad to discuss it. You're being respectful, and so is Chad. Absolutely. I try my very best, and you guys are great. You guys have been so great. I was also scared to talk about this because, like I said, politics and religion are, it's hard to talk about that in mixed company. But you guys have been great, and I really, really appreciate that. Absolutely. What else can we do, you guys? How else can we spread awareness about Bryson or discuss it more? If you guys have any suggestions, you can email me. Or if you have any other cases that you think we could spread awareness about, you can email me. Or if you want to be part of my Discord, you can email me about that too. Neat Noodle says, I hope he is okay and being cared for. That's exactly what I'm hoping for, Neat Noodle. I'm hoping that maybe they're waiting for his injuries to heal and then he will show up. But it makes me really nervous that it's been 11 days too, so I'm not sure. But it makes me really nervous that his parents backed out of that agreement that they were supposed to bring him to meet with investigators, and they backed out of that. That makes me really nervous too. Thank you so much, Jen. Jen posted my email so that if you guys want to join my Discord, you're more than welcome. And keep an eye on my community post, you guys. Hopefully I can update it like I did about Tasia, how she was found safe. Hopefully, I hope and pray that we can update it about little Bryson too. NorCal Jim says, this one scares me, especially with the church's power. That's what I was scared about too. Absolutely. Money and power. I'm going to finish watching the YouTube video that I was watching before this. It's the one that you sent me, Jen. And it was, she said it was a lady and a man, and she said that it reminds her of the Branch Davidians and the Daybells since the child was missing. I hope that they go through records and put eyes on all the other children associated with this. They need to make sure that every single child is okay and safe. Yeah. Adrian says, at Mo, thank you for all your work, love. Thank you, Adrian. Thank all of you guys for coming and listening to me. I really appreciate it. These cases mean a lot to me, and I know they mean a lot to you guys too. And you could be anywhere watching anything or doing anything, and you decided to spend your time with me, and I do not take that for granted at all. Not at all. Okay, you guys, I think I'm going to go now, but I really appreciate you all for coming, and please share the word about Bryson that you can. He could be either in Ohio or near his home in Indiana. I think it's Cass County. Yep, Cass County, Indiana. So he could be anywhere, basically, you guys. So keep an eye out for him and help me pray that he's found safely. Sure, Jen. No problem at all. I hope you guys all have a great weekend too. Absolutely. Okay, I love you all, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.